That better? Good evening, everyone. This is Blair Miller in the Atlanta News First Newsroom, and good to see you. Hope everyone's had a great week, and we're finally at that weekend, and so it is nice to be here. We'll get you a quick update on some of the top stories that are happening today and some of the stories we're following still here tonight. And then we'll hear from meteorologist Cutter Martin here in a few minutes and talk about what we can expect outside this weekend because I had a little bit of everything this week. It certainly has cooled off a little bit in the mornings and the overnight hours, but I think it's pretty nice in the afternoons. We'll get an update from Cutter here in a few minutes and find out what we all can expect to this weekend and when our next rain chances are coming back after we saw the rain there yesterday. But the big story of the day, and just heartbreaking if you've been watching the testimony in the Laken Riley case. She was the 22-year-old who was killed on the campus of the University of Georgia back in February while she was out for a jog. And this case the trial got underway today. And hearing some of that testimony is truly heartbreaking, hearing some of the moments that unfolded there and some of the evidence that prosecutors are now laying out in this case as we get a glimpse into the investigation, what law enforcement has been dealing with. That witness testimony getting underway, the suspect, Jose Ibarra. And we learned a lot about this case today. Truly painful to hear. And our Chelsea Bimefort was there in the courtroom. She's here tonight to get us updated on what happened in this case today.
And he went hunting for females on the University of Georgia's campus.
On Friday, the state started strong, telling Judge Patrick Haggard that both DNA and video evidence proves Jose Ibarra killed Laken Riley while she was running on UGA's East Campus on February 22nd. Prosecutors say the same morning, a UGA grad student called 911 to report a peeping Tom, the man dressed in dark clothing and drinking from a white styrofoam cup, was caught on surveillance video trying to break into that student's apartment. That building in close proximity to where Riley was found dead hours later. Police also found that styrofoam cup between the two scenes with Ibarra's DNA on it.
Ma'am.
One of the more intense moments of the day came when the state played body camera video from the campus police officer who found Riley dead. He testified that her jacket had been pulled above her chest and her leggings had been tugged down. Later, prosecutors played a ring camera video captured by Ibarra's neighbor, showing a man tossing items into a dumpster and shoving something else into a bush. Police found gloves and a jacket with both Riley and Ibarra's DNA. The defense poked very few holes in the state's arguments Friday as their Spanish-speaking client listened to his translator through headphones, only saying this during opening statements.
The evidence in this case is very good that Laken Riley was murdered. The evidence that Jose Ibarra killed Laken Riley is circumstantial.
That is the update from Chelsea Bimefort. Day one of this trial now underway. Keep in mind, though, in this case, the suspect has asked that this case be handled by a judge, not a jury, and that certainly is his right. And because of that, this case is moving on pretty quickly. It will get back underway on Monday, and we will keep you updated on this story as it unfolds and more information comes out on this trial. Another big story today, police right now are searching for two armed robbers after a really bizarre moment that happened inside an Atlanta Dollar General store. And tonight we're hearing from the security guard who was involved in this and who really stepped in to help.
Why are kids trying to rob a store at 2:47 p.m. in the afternoon full of people? It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And here's some of that video as you can see it unfold. He's the security guard right there, and we've paused this so you can see that. And this happening at this Dollar General, and that robbery left an off-duty security guard shot. And as you can see in this picture, when he tried to step in and really help some of those people who are in the store. As we show you that video again, you can see all this unfolding, and that's who they're looking for tonight, those two people in the black hoodies right there, and there you see them pull out their gun.
I'm Yasmina Alston at Atlanta Police Headquarters, where investigators are seeking help identifying two men who they say are accused of an armed robbery at a Dollar General store. During that incident, an off-duty security guard was also shot. Corey Lampley says he was at the right place at the right time. He had just gotten off work from his security job and was still in uniform when he stopped at the Dollar General on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. This surveillance video shows him at the cash register waiting to check out. You can also see the two men in black hoodies who Lampley says appear to be teens. According to Lampley, he briefly left the store to go to his car, and when he returned, one of the young men jumped the counter with a gun. When Lampley realized what was happening, he reached for his own gun, but was shot in the shoulder before he could do anything. Lampley says he shot back until the duo eventually ran off. Now investigators need help identifying them.
I think it's pretty amazing no one else was hurt in all this, but some pretty tense moments unfolding as we look at that video. Again, police searching for those two robbers tonight. Well, here we are at Friday, and before we get to that, we just wrapped up one of our editorial meetings, getting ready for tonight's 10 and 11 o'clock newscast on Atlanta News First, and I know the 10 o'clock newscast, I believe, will be streaming because we've got the Atlanta Hawks on, but the 11 o'clock newscast will be on CBS and here at ANF Plus. But one of the stories we're working on tonight, our Bridget Spencer has an exclusive. If you recall in some of our coverage earlier this week, a lineman up in Griffin was killed while on the job and working in a bucket truck. And tonight there was a bonfire held in Griffin to remember this man. And so Bridget Spencer is working on that story. She's been the only reporter up there tonight, talking with those who knew him best. And so we'll be hearing from them coming up tonight at 10, 11. We will also be breaking down what's happening with the weather as we get ready for the weekend. And as we take a live look outside, and I think it turned out to be a pretty nice day today. I'm bringing in meteorologist Cutter Martin. I thought it was great. Some people were saying it was cool. I know it was cool this morning.
Right? Well, it depends on where you're from.
Well,
a little. I think
sure.
your blood is a little. You'd say, is it thicker? Is that
I
the
think
proper?
it's thicker.
Yeah, it was chilly this morning.
I
It's
gauge
nice.
it on what happens when I walk out the door. My kids look at me like,
And
why am I wearing this?
What was so? Was that the look
Today they were pretty good. They were
Okay.
yesterday they were like, why are we wearing shorts?
You're kind of hitting the nail on
They
the.
should have been wearing pants yesterday. Today it was okay.
Yeah, today, this afternoon was nice, but you're kind of hitting the nail on the head. One of those weekends where mornings are chilly,
Right.
And then quickly you're short sleeves by afternoon.
So,
A little bit of both.
but as for the rain, we got
Yeah.
a while on. It's gonna be a nice weekend. It sounds like.
It is. In fact, I think this is going to be, Blair, one of those 10 out of 10 weekends.
10
where
out of 10?
I would say.
Wow, Cutter.
Maybe, conservatively, 9 out of 10.
Okay. Well, no. Okay.
It's going to be very
You got me
nice.
excited.
It's going to be very, very nice.
I'll let you take over, sir.
Yeah, and then as we get into Tuesday, first alert weather day with rain back in the forecast. So as Blair mentioned, we have a while before the rain really re-enters the picture, a while to enjoy the nice weather, a while to get outside and do all of those fall things. I'm talking about, there's probably still some corn mazes out there, maybe even some pumpkin patches. Of course, we're kind of past that time of the season. Also, fall cooking. If you love to just get in the kitchen on a weekend and have a little bit of fun, it is looking pretty decent out there for just about all weekend outdoor activities. Again, thank you for tuning in and for watching. I'm First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin here to give you an update on the First Alert forecast. And I want to remind you, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, YouTube is the place to be. Atlanta News First is the account that we're streaming on right now. You can also simply text us. Maybe you're on Roku, Amazon Fire. Could even be streaming in the Atlanta News First app, First Alert Weather app. If you just shoot us a text with your question, literally just type out your question to 470-777 9263. Again, that's 470-777 WANF. That's yet another way in which we can chat. I'm going to go ahead and bring up what's happening now before we get too deeply into the First Alert forecast. Looking ahead, but first a quick look at what's happening outside right now. And it's a gorgeous evening. It is chilly though. Temperatures are already back in the 40s in a few spots. LJ 44, also outside the core of the city, like Carrollton 48. Not far from the 40s, even well south and east of Atlanta, typically one of the warmer spots, Eatonton at 51. You'll be in the 40s here pretty shortly, give it another hour or so. 49 in Canton, and again, an update there, 44 degrees in LJ, 50 in Helen. So jacket's a good idea for any outdoor plans, activities, festivities, dinners, after-dinner drinks, whatever you have going on this Friday evening. It is going to be chilly. Temperatures in the lower 50s, 9 p.m., and we're pretty much on pace to reach that here in the city of Atlanta. Keep in mind, this is for the core of the city. If you're away from Hartsfield-Jackson, if you're away from the core of Midtown, downtown, Buckhead, it's going to cool more quickly. Some areas will probably be in the upper 30s by midnight tonight, not in the upper 40s. Looking at you folks up in the mountains in LJ, for example, as we were just looking, already back in the mid-40s. 46 in Atlanta by 3 a.m., And we are looking at waking up to temperatures in the low to mid 40s tomorrow morning across the general metro. Keep in mind, though, far west side, Carrollton 38, LJ, another typically cold spot 39, Helen verging on 40. And if you're a higher elevation in some of these towns, getting up towards Mountain Peaks, temperatures likely in the mid to upper 30s out the door tomorrow morning. A little bit 40s elsewhere, though, outside the core of the metro. It's going to be a stunner of a day. Cold to start, but then we're warming back up. Temperatures back in the mid to upper 60s as an average. Some are near 70 as we get to tomorrow afternoon. A good day, I would say, to grab some brunch, get some friends together, whether you are cooking at home or heading out to your favorite restaurant around North Georgia, maybe headed up to the mountains for a long weekend. Kind of past the peak of fall color up in the higher of elevations, but it's still kind of that pretty, almost winter time. The trees are getting a little bare, so a little bit of color out there. We have some of those berries popping up out there, and the sky will be filled with sunshine. It really is going to be a very, very nice day. Great day to enjoy time outdoors with friends. However, if you're, brunching it a little bit early, maybe 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, temperature still in the 50s, it's still chilly. By noon, if you're in the shade, probably still feeling chilly. If you're in the sun, getting more comfortable. And by afternoon, I think if you're in the sunshine, might feel warmer than what you would think with temperatures in the upper 60s. But if you are still in the shade and you're outside tomorrow, even in the afternoon, if you're someone that doesn't absolutely love chilly weather, you're probably still going to find it a little bit on the cool side. Probably still will want a light jacket, again, if those plans do bring you outdoors tomorrow afternoon. High temperatures across the board. We're talking a lot and kind of going in depth here with highs. Not a huge range in numbers tomorrow, mid to upper 60s. I would say the rule, though a couple of exceptions to that rule, south of Atlanta. Very typical for this setup. LaGrange, a little warmer at 70. Upson County, Thomaston, a little warmer at 70. Eatonton, one of the chillier spots now, but forecast to be one of the milder spots tomorrow afternoon with a high temperature at 70. Then again, you go up to Helen, much higher in elevation, and temperatures roughly the same, 68 to 70. Not a bad afternoon tomorrow. I would say, again, sticking with that, a 9 out of 10 at worst. Going into the afternoon tomorrow, Sunday, a little bit milder, just as nice. We are talking wonderful weather for those outdoor plans. And along with that comes sunshine. Maybe a few clouds in Rome, maybe a few clouds in Blue Ridge, down in LaGrange. Some will see a high cloud or two drifting overhead. Most of us seeing almost complete sunshine from Eatonton to Madison to Athens, on up to Rome, even up in the mountains. You see that little cloud symbol for Blue Ridge. We're talking a cloud or two. High wispy clouds, no rain falling from these. Great day to get outside no matter where you are in North Georgia. And one event that we are tracking, that we're watching for you, that is, at least forecast-wise, going to be very, very nice. Not really worried about any issues here. Would be Atlanta Food and Wine Festival. This began Thursday. We'll run through Sunday. We have events in a couple different places. Again, more at AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Temperatures peaking upper 60s and lower 70s. But as we also talked about, as we transition from our news headlines with Blair to the First Alert forecast, it will be one of those weekends where you may want a jacket in the mornings. I would want a jacket. I think most would. Some might even want a coat. But then you're quickly shedding that layer as we get into the afternoon, something very, very light. And by Sunday afternoon, I would say a short sleeves for most will be fine. Now, if you're in a shady spot up in the mountains or East Georgia, it could be just a little bit cooler. But in general, nice stuff this weekend. Hard to ask for much nicer. First Alert 7-day forecast. Here comes the change. We have 2 First Alert weather days. We've been talking about this all day today on Atlanta News First. The First Alert weather day is Tuesday. Scattered rain is in the forecast. Could even see that forecast trend a little wetter. We're kind of fine-tuning those details. And then beyond that, second First Alert weather day is for a transition from mild weather to cold weather. So 70 Wednesday. We will potentially struggle to hit 50 Thursday. That's a 20-degree drop in temperature and also a big increase in our winds. So we will wake up Thursday morning, temperatures 30s and 40s, so we're going to have a wind blowing, gusting up to 20. There will be a wind chill. Could feel like 20s, 30s out the door Thursday morning. So once again, kind of a shift in the wardrobe. If you have students, young ones headed on out, you will want to kind of change it up a bit. Perhaps that winter coat is being tugged out for one of the first times this season. I know we did have a few mornings in the 30s and 40s, though, without much wind in October, and may have pulled out your winter coat then, but if you didn't then, you certainly will be now. And it looks like the cooler weather will last should even say colder weather, will last on into next weekend. So here's the layout. I know we just showed you the 7-day forecast, but the active weather pattern includes two things next week. The potential for rain, could be widespread rain, especially middle and south Georgia ahead of the front. That's the more uncertain of the two first alert weather days. How far north does that rain get? How impactful is it? We're certainly watching Tuesday for some rain that could slow that evening commute, impact your evening plans, but I don't think it's a slam dunk, certain to be washout sort of setup at this time. But we're watching it, and you should watch it too, especially if you have those outdoor plans. And then the front arrives later Wednesday. By Wednesday night, you're starting to feel it. Certainly by Thursday morning, we're waking up to it. With wind chills in the 20s, 30s, actual temperatures, 30s, 40s, much colder behind the front. We're nearly certain at this point with that. As this forecast develops, there could, of course, be some subtle changes. But in general, pretty locked in with that part of the forecast. And there will be some wind along and behind this front, too. Probably some of the breezier, the windier weather we've had in a little bit, even with the breezes we had, a few days ago. Justin, hello to you on Atlanta News First YouTube account. Justin, I don't know if you're watching locally. I don't know if you're watching from abroad, but thanks for tuning in and for streaming Atlanta News First Plus this evening. And a reminder, if you have any questions about the forecast here or, regionally, you can venture out and ask those questions right here on Atlanta News First, streaming on the YouTube account. That comment may have actually come in a couple moments ago. Hopefully I didn't wait too long to respond, but we're going to stream here for another minute or so. And if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns there, or you can text us 470-777-9263. That's WANF. I also want to remind you, as we kind of begin to wrap up this stream this evening, good week to stay in touch with the forecast. Gardeners, in particular for the cold weather moving in, could be dealing with some frostier, maybe some seeing their first freeze of the season. Again, possibly outside of the city as we get into next weekend and the end of the work week. And also timing out that rain chance Tuesday. It could slow that evening commute, but I think there will probably end up being a range in what we see rainfall-wise, depending on exactly where you are. And we'll be fine-tuning that forecast. Confidence will continue to increase with the specifics of the forecast as we get just a little bit closer. And you can grab both of those updates about the cold and the rain chance in the First Alert Weather app on the go, also at atlantanewsfirst.com. First Alert meteorologist Patrick Pete is back here in just a bit. He's going to be putting a new video in the First Alert Weather app. Also, you can catch him tonight, 10 to 11:30, first on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW, 10 to 11, and some of our new data coming in by then, too. So if there are any minor adjustments to the forecast, you can catch it then. And then streaming tonight, and we're on TV. WANF on Atlanta News First with First Alert meteorologist Patrick Pete. Again, want to thank you for tuning in and for watching. Stunning weekend ahead in case you missed Blair and I's conversation a few moments ago. Chilly mornings, nice afternoons, really nice stuff. Tuesday, rain chance. Thursday, turning sharply colder Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Have the next 2 days to watch. But in the meantime, please do get outside. Make the most of this November weekend, a very special time of year. One that can have some really wild weather across North Georgia, but not getting any of that this weekend. It will be a great one to get outside. Again, we'll have an update in your First Alert Weather app here in just a few minutes from First Alert meteorologist Patrick Pete, and then back on TV on Peachtree TV. And streaming actually digitally tonight. A reminder, you may have to catch us in a different place. We will be streaming tonight's 10 o'clock newscast. Should remind you of that tonight. You can stream it anywhere you're streaming Atlanta News First Plus right now. Also at atlantanewsfirst.com.